Welcome to Love's Haven, of course. You know, happy to have y'all here always. And I'm here with, of course, Elle B in the cut, of course. The sweetest sweetheart.
I try to be. I'm really a Sour Patch Kid.
Sour and sweet, literally. So, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very inebriated and
Oh, big
vulnerable.
words. Okay. Why are you feeling inebriated and vulnerable?
I feel like I am comfortable here. I'm very welcomed, and I don't mind being vulnerable.
I love to try to keep people vulnerable, y'all. We have already had lemon drops.
As you can see, my grandfather was an alcoholic, so
Oh! So, we already had our lemon drops for today. Well, she's going to have another one. I'm going to stick with one because one and done for me. One and done crew over here. I'm sorry. So, what's your major?
my major was nursing, but I transferred to psychology
Oh, I love that.
only because my GPA is not where it's at right now. And it's okay to take a break from something that's really like tanking your GPA or academic progress. But I actually think I'm going to stick with psychology because
I like psychology. My minor's in psychology.
I like knowing what the mind and how the mind works. I feel like mental health isn't really a like if people talk about it a lot, they spread awareness to it, but for
I
the
think it's
health of it,
becoming a big thing. Oops.
like it's becoming a big thing, but I think people only use it as an excuse. Are you okay? Love.
Why was I finna drink the microphone? I'm so sorry. I literally went like I was gonna drink the drink, but it was the microphone. So if y'all see that, just ignore
We're
that.
very lit right now. It's
Not
okay.
not really. It's just because I haven't been drinking that much. Like I literally have not. So that's why I say one is good for me. Like I've been not drinking at all. Like I'll have a little wine. Literally, like last weekend, me and Maddie had wine. 2 glasses of wine, girl. I was literally on top of the world. It was so bad. I was like, girl, what has happened to
I
me?
mean, but
I feel like somebody
wine
mama.
wine is literally a lit drink if we're gonna be honest.
It is, but it's like I don't know why the wine was whining because after like half of the first glass, I'm like, oh, this is some real good wine. Sit at the
This
table like,
is
So I was like, I think I can do another second glass. Girls, into that second glass, I said, oh,
we're vibing.
I need some water, snack, something to,
Not gonna lie, I might need a snack. I hope I'll be quiet. Never mind. I'm sorry. I even said that. I'm so sorry. It's because whenever I get drunk, I get hungry.
I think that's
And
everybody though.
yeah, but it's not. I'm a punk when it comes to liquor. Like when weed, it's like a steady fight back and forth. I could put up a fight, but with liquor, oh baby, no. It's like Mike Tyson.
I don't know what's crazy is like drinks used to really not have effect on me. Like whenever I was like drinking, like it would take a lot of drinks for me to get like drunk. Like I would be feeling good.
Hmm.
Like I could take like 7 shots and I'd be feeling good. Now 7 shots will have somebody somewhere passed out. Me
I
on the
would
other
be
hand,
dead.
I'm literally chilling. I'm like, it's good. Like I'm good. We're chilling. Is everybody else okay in the room? Does anybody need anything? Like I was that person. But now I just feel like if I was to take 7 shots right now, y'all, Lamar University
I'm sorry.
and the Nats, baby, please do better.
I don't know. Is it just me or is it like a whole gnat and fruit fly
Girl,
infestation going?
no, it is. It is.
Cause literally, I
Girl.
called the exterminator and I
Girl, they're
was
gonna tell you,
like,
oh, they're gonna sit here and try to tell you, oh, is something wrong with your room? Maybe have something out. No, no, it's not. Y'all are not doing something here. And it's like, I just really feel like after this semester, with the whole Wi-Fi situation, first semester,
the
why,
water situation.
the, girl,
I feel like there's no excuse. Like literally, the housing accommodations
we
and the
need
housing regulations here just fucking are
we need some
suck.
reparations,
Literally,
literally, because there's no reason why I should have went a week without water.
I want a discount on my fucking
Girl, I
housing
told
this
you.
year.
I literally told you whenever that man came to this room and I was talking to him, he was like, "Yeah, we're not gonna really accommodate you for no water or anything like that. We can just give you like he said we're not gonna accommodate you financially, but we will accommodate you with certain amenities you may need, such as
fucking amenity,
such as going to the rec."
Bitch, what?
By the time I take my black behind to the rec and come back, I'm gonna need another shower. And secondly, like, I'm so sorry, but I'm not
showering in the rec.
That's what I'm saying. We do not pay this good money to be sitting here taking jail showers. I'm so sorry. There's no reason why I need to have on shower shoes at a college that I pay X amount of dollars for.
No, like literally, like it makes no sense. And then on top of that, it's just like I don't understand why you guys just simply don't fix up the water amenities here, because that's actually a health
it's a lack
violation.
But it's also a lack of communication. Y'all are failing to, like, even then, like, I had to ask them why our water was not back on at the time they said it was going to come back on. Why am I having to contact y'all about why my water's not on? Why are you not communicating with me? Oh, the water's still having technical difficulties. Why am I reaching out to y'all? Why am I sitting here still confused and wondering why my water's still off?
Literally, like, it's so disgusting.
And it's like the Nat situation last year, actually, I will say it was not bad. That was my sophomore year. My freshman year, oh, I almost lost my mind. Literally, didn't I say this last time? I have like PTSD from like gnats. I really do. Like, I really, really do. Like, I want people
to be having Vietnam flashbacks.
Girl, no, I literally am having flashbacks because my freshman year when I was staying at Gentry, I came back from winter break. It was getting warm outside. I come back to my room. Girl, I'm looking, it's gnats everywhere. And I'm just like, oh, this is actually insane.
That's what happened with one of my dorms. And at first I thought it was like the person I was living with because she left fucking food out. But then literally I got to thinking and I was just like, they're still here, but she was dirty. But like, I was just like, I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand why you guys can't call it exterminated.
They have to have something that's dying around this campus because literally, when I tell you my freshman year, I was literally fighting for my life. And it's like, it wasn't just in Gentry either because my best friend, she stayed in Monroe at the time. And I would come over there. Girl, she'd be fighting the gnats for her food. Literally, the gnats are trying to eat the food quicker than them. Like, it's really bad.
Lamar and it's like, University, do fucking better.
Girl, I was on the phone with them, like, literally the RA on call at, like, 12 o'clock at night because I had came back late. And I'm like, girl, I'm not staying here. I'm like, this is actually ridiculous. There's so many gnats and everything. She's going to say to me, oh, maybe did you leave something out? I'm like, there's nothing left out. I'm not a dirty person, first of all. So there's nothing left out. There's no food.
But even if you did, it shouldn't be, like, a whole fucking swarm within a span of 3 days.
Exactly. And I'm trying to tell her, I'm like, no, I said, you can come to my room right now. I literally, like me, before I leave for like breaks, I like to clean everything out. I don't like to leave anything in the fridge or nothing like that. I like to have everything clean. So it's like, I know I cleaned up before I left. I know I didn't leave nothing around here. So I'm so confused to why I'm coming back and it swarms of gnats. So she came down to my room because she thought I was lying. I'm like, bro, I'm not lying. Like, I'm literally dead serious. She's looking at me. She's like, oh, it is very clean. Exactly. I tried to tell you this. So let's find some solution. But I literally was so traumatized because it's like, girl, I thought the gnats was gonna coat me to the next room. I was like, in my head, I'm like, I need to wash all my blankets and everything because they probably have laid eggs somewhere, and now
that's another thing too. Like
they're gonna hatch and be in this room, and I'm being here stressed. It was so bad.
And the way I be using bleach, it's like, should no gnat be surviving? Should no fruit fly be surviving?
I don't think the bleach is even working at this point. I think these gnats are like autoimmune.
But we are in Beaumont, and these niggas are like immune to the fucking factory smoke and
like
carcinogens.
I thought me pouring bleach down the drain when I came back this week, pouring bleach down the drains and the outside of it, I thought that was gonna kill them. No, they're still thriving, full thriving. Like, it's like they are just like, cool beans, we're good. Like, you tried to kill us, we're still alive.
Like, bitch, I'm back and I'm better. Like, okay. No, stop. Go.
Literally, they are like, we are here. We're vibing and we are here to stay. They need to get it together. I don't know, like. And then, like, they have, like, the hallway in the wintertime with all those, like, them long legs.
Oh, you mean daddy long legs?
But they're, like, mosquitoes. all the
Oh, the crane flies? When I
yes,
tell
they
you,
had.
I had literally at least 60 of them bitches.
They're everywhere, like down the hallways. There were so many of them. The mosquito, like they need to do like some type of spraying over this break while we're gone. I just feel like that would do so much. All this money that we're giving y'all, and y'all can't afford an exterminator.
I think another thing I realized, Lamar doesn't really take care of their dorms as well. Because last year in Gentry, like, Gentry is literally like the projects. And then, like, for all
Girl,
this money,
Gentry, Combs.
Combs is literally like the fucking kennel.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. Combs is actually doing better than it was last year because Dylan stayed in Combs last year and they didn't have no washers, no water, no Wi-Fi. They didn't have nothing. Like they would have no Wi-Fi for days. They would only have 2 washers and 2 dryers working because they would be flooded. So actually, I will say I think they're doing better this year, but they're not.
I
They're
will say
definitely.
one thing: they replaced the washers and dryers this semester in Morris. So shout out
They
Lamar for
replaced them
that.
everywhere, and I love that. I'm not gonna lie. I'll give them credit for that because I do like the new washers and dryers.
I
I
really
do.
do, cause it's like now you don't have to wait fucking 2 hours for somebody to get done with their fucking
I'm not
clothes and
gonna
leave them
lie.
there.
When I lie to you, I was the person that put 90 minutes on that dryer.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I would too. That's the only thing I miss. But at the same time, I hate it when other people do it. I'm such a fucking hypocrite. Like I be there and I'm like, what fucking bitch need her fucking towels to dry for 50 fucking minutes? Like, girl, fuck you.
And
And
it
then
would be me.
2 minutes later, I'm like,
Just because I don't feel like coming back in 6 months, I feel like coming back in an hour. I could use those extra 30 minutes, you know? And I was that person. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that's one thing I like the new washers and I like the new dryers, but at the same time, girl, them things be done fast.
Literally, it wouldn't even like I set a timer and like not even it felt like 30 minutes later, not an hour, and it was like your towels are done. And I'm like,
Girl, no, because I was thinking I had time to take me a shower, do my little skincare routine.
go to the gym.
Girl, I had to hurry up and put some little clothes on. No bra, nothing, just clothes on. Hurry up and go and put my clothes in there because I don't want nobody
I
else to
think
touch
I've
my
been having
stuff.
time to go to Papa John's, and I'm
Baby,
like,
no. There's
mm-mm.
no time. Just sit still, put you on a little YouTube video and call it a day. Keep it going because your clothes will be done shortly.
Just
And
sit back, take a nap, because
the
when you wake
washers,
up,
thank you God, the washers only take, what, 30 minutes?
literally.
Like, okay, washers.
Like, I'll just be, and then another thing too is like, I'm kind of glad that they kind of set timers on them now because the way people just be leaving them in there for like 3 days at most. And I'm like,
Who?
I'm not gonna lie, that was a problem with like my freshman year. Like, everybody would be washing their clothes on the weekend, but it was always them 5 little niggas that left their load in the fucking washer or in the dryer for at least 2, 3 days. And I would be like,
And
bro,
I'm the person, if I see your clothes are still there,
I'm moving it.
I'm putting your clothes on the table. Now, at first, I'm not gonna lie, when I was a freshman, I would feel bad for taking people's clothes out of the dryer. So I was nice and I folded them.
No, I'm
I
just
would
throwing
fold their
them on the
clothes.
table.
But then it's like, I stopped caring.
Because it's like, girl, you know your shit's done. You just don't want to
That's
pick
what I'm
it
saying.
up.
You know your things are done. It's like you gonna keep sitting here thinking somebody's gonna fold your stuff if I just continuously keep folding it. Now I'm not saying it was the same exact person because I doubt it was, but it's like you keep seeing somebody's folding clothes in here. Y'all are gonna be in no rush to get your things. Literally.
Like, oh, no. And then another thing, people start stealing like clothes now.
No,
People,
girl.
people are stealing clothes, and
I
I'm
don't think
like,
I haven't had anybody steal clothes like this semester. I mean, this year or last year. But my freshman year, yes, I remember I would be looking through my stuff and I'm like, bro, where's my panties?
I'm kidding you
Where's
not.
my shirt?
Girl,
Yeah,
where's my washcloths? Like, what?
literally, you're taking my stuff out, but I feel like you're also shopping because where's my drawers? Where's my drawers? Where's my shirts? I'm not understanding. Where's my socks?
I kid you not. I wanted to do this one time because I got it from a YouTube video. This dude was like, whoever keeps stealing my office supplies, I hope you know I have HPV. And he was like, no, he said, I'm shoving them up my ass, so I hope you like HPV. And I
Oh
was just
my
like, bro, what
gosh.
if I just left on the fucking dryer? Whoever keeps stealing my clothes, I have gonorrhea, so I hope you like that. But I don't want to do that to myself because, baby, you're not going to run around telling people I got
They
gonorrhea.
will, because they definitely will.
After you stole my clothes, like, girl, no.
Girl, she said she got gonorrhea.
No, baby.
Huh?
I keep this top tier. You're not going to do that to
I
me.
was just saying that. What did it say? I was capping. I was lying. Literally, baby.
I was telling stories.
I just didn't want you to touch my stuff.
It seems like you gotta tell lies for people to not fuck with your shit. Like, bro,
I don't know. What do you think? What is your overall experience on college so far? What
I'm
is your
ready to
thought?
fucking graduate.
Girl, what?
Like, if I could, I'm not gonna lie, if I could have the Megan Thee Stallion story where I just get rich and I could live in a mansion by myself and only have my close friends come
See,
over, yeah, but I don't live that life, so.
baby, I'm waiting because, you know, if y'all want to get this video to a million views, a million views, we all can make it out of here. So, if you're watching, please,
Like,
please
comment, and subscribe.
like, comment, subscribe because you are donating to a college student's funds. Literally. So,
Oh my god.
if you care, if you don't care,
If you want to support higher
that's fine.
education,
But
and
a girl can only have dreams. And, all I'm going to say is, as your class president, 2024, if I make it out, you can make it out too.
like Obama said, we can do it.
Together. Unity.
You know what's a crazy thing though? I realize a lot of athletes get paid more than doctors, and I think that's fucking ridiculous.
What do you mean, like actual athletes or college athletes?
I mean, like basketball players that are in like the NBA and shit. Like, don't get me wrong. I get there's a
It's
lot of
entertainment.
risk that comes along with that, and it is entertainment. But at the same time, if I'm going to literally like half of my life for fucking medical school to fix your fucking ACL, I should be getting paid more than you.
I wonder why though.
I think it's just because there's a lot of money in it. Like people.
Into what though? I mean, I'm not knocking. I'm not knocking like
Yeah,
athletes.
to all you future Kevin Durant's and Steph Curry's
We're not
out
knocking
there,
you. We're not
achieve your
knocking you.
dreams.
It's just a genuine question because that is true. People who go to school for like medical school, they're in school for like
Half their
8
fucking
years,
lives.
8 to 10 years. How are you?
Like, if people
First of all,
30.
some of y'all don't even finish college. Y'all already get free college, right? Y'all come here, don't finish. Y'all go put yourself in the draft, and then y'all are making millions of dollars. Meanwhile, Susie is over here.
She's fucking 36, just graduating with 2 kids and a fucking husband. Meanwhile,
still got student loan.
Literally, like $100,000 in student loan. That doesn't even make sense. $300,000 in student loans.
Your pay is determined by demand and rarity. There are very few
For who? Athletes?
There are very few people in the world who are the best at what they do. The public is willing to pay more for athletes, musicians, and actors than they are for people who actually care about it.
Oh.
Why though? Why has that become a custom in today's society?
Because it's entertainment, though.
I get it's entertainment, but it's like at the same time, like you're not gonna be having any type of help
I
for
don't
anything
think
that you
people
do.
care about their health. I mean, we literally live in America where people buy double bacon, egg, cheeseburgers every day, and they.
But that's the same thing for teachers too. Teachers don't make a lot of money. Like that was like one of the reasons why I chose to stop wanting to do education. Like that was not the prime reason, but it was one reason I was worried about being a teacher. I'm in school for this 4 years, and you're telling me I'm coming out making not nothing.
I'm barely making above minimum wage.
I can only have enough money for myself. Not having kids and a family to take care of. Granted, because like I said, I would prefer a husband.
I think that's a mess up thing too. Like, don't get me wrong, people love what they love, but at the same time, we need to start valuing things that are more that are more fruitful and more effective for our future.
But teachers are literally the foundations for
education
for your life.
Literally,
not just education, your life. Like kindergarten to teach, like till you graduate high school.
I kid you not.
You spend majority of your day at school. You spend 8-9 hours at school. You spend more time at school than you do at home.
But if you think about it, the education system here is literally like prison.
What do you mean?
Okay, so think
in the
about
U.S.
it.
or
like in the U.S. Like, if you think about all the other parts of the world, they actually, like, try to stimulate your mind. They actually care about your healthy, well-balanced diet.
Get it out, girl.
Sorry. Ooh, this liquoring. But it's versus, like, here in the education system, like, literally, teachers are having sex with teachers. Not saying that there are teachers are
Wait,
having sex with
what?
students. Yeah, like people like
Teachers are having sex with teachers or
I
teachers?
mean, teachers are having sex with students,
You
and
know
then
what?
like
I
people
seen
bat
that.
an eyelash at that. And then like, have you looked at our lunches here? Like literally, we're up here at 11 o'clock in the morning eating some lukewarm macaroni, some fucking oven baked Salisbury steak, and some cold ass broccoli that came straight out the freezer. And people are refusing to give students lunch simply because they have to pay for it.
I think we talked about this with somebody else before. I don't think I talked about how I didn't think it was right that whenever you couldn't afford lunch, they gave you peanut butter and bread.
Literally just peanut butter and jelly
So-
sandwich and a milk carton. Like, girl.
My thing is this. School lunch is like only like $2.50, right? If I can't afford $2.50 worth of lunch, why like I feel like that's just so inhumane of you to sit here and tell somebody, well, since your family can't afford $2.50, you deserve peanut butter and bread.
Like,
What?
girl.
They treat you like the scum of the earth, but that's really how society is. It's like school prepares you in some sense for the real world.
Like, literally.
You can't afford anything, guess what? You're not getting anywhere. That's
And then you literally have to fight. So that's why I don't necessarily like blame people who turn to crime for wanting a better life. Like, if you sell drugs, sell drugs. But if you start killing people, that's when I'm gonna look at you crazy. But if you sell drugs just to get ahead in life, I don't blame you. Because who wants to live in that low income, not necessarily low income, but just that, I don't know, not a suitable life environment. Like,
true.
where you're literally scraping, like you're living paycheck to paycheck. I wouldn't want to live like that. And the thing
I
is,
don't think anybody wants to live like that.
and the government is
honestly.
so stingy with the resources. Like, I think college students should get food stamps if you want to know the truth.
I don't think we should get free college.
Literally.
Maybe not free college.
No,
Because
free college.
I understand the point of them making us pay for college, you know, in some sense. Because, like, if you really want it, you'll work for it. You shouldn't give everybody free college. It's like public school. There's a lot of people who would take advantage of college, like, literally. So I feel like you should have to pay to some extent, but as the prices that we're paying for college is actually insane.
I just think that, like, if you genuinely want people to have, like, a better education, or if you want society to progress better, you will at least support the people who are wanting to do better. You're not supporting the people who can pay the most, who have the most connections. Like,
they don't want to see people from they constantly want to leave the people at the bottom for a reason. They don't want to have the people at the bottom on top, and whenever the people at the bottom do make it to the top, they still treat them like crap.
literally. Or they just give them little to no access of, like, making a change for the better.
But in some point also it's like now, so a lot of people sometimes like to say, we talked about that in that event we were both were at the Poetic Souls event, and it talked about it was a question, and they were like, do you think that us as African Americans that we are, what was it, like, it was a big topic, I can't remember the exact,
Responsible for our own.
yeah,
I feel like in a sense we are.
what was the question? I don't want that. Responsible for our own, like, what basically are we responsible for finding our way into making money? Basically, in a sense, yes. There were people saying that no, because we weren't taught. But then I was on the side disagreeing, because at one point, do you go out and find it for yourself?
You mean the one where we went to, like, choose this or that
Mhm.
event? I feel like in a sense we are, but also we aren't. Because if you think about it, we have always been systematically oppressed to be at the bottom. Like,
Mhm.
Central Park was actually a thriving black town. Once upon a time, Rosewood was a thriving black town with, like, black banks, black schools, black communities, and, like, black financial stability. However, these white towns like Lake Lanier would drown out these towns, killing all the black residents, killing all the black businesses, killing all the black banks. And when black people actually went back to ask for the money, they never got their money. But guess who got the money? The white people that were in the neighborhoods. We were systematically oppressed to be at the bottom financially, spiritually.
They don't want to see us rise, but I feel like that's then. You know, like, I'm not trying to take away from where we came from, but now we live in a different world where we have access to things. You know what I mean? At what point do we choose for ourselves to go out and get it?
Do you think that there aren't still hindrances for black
No, I
financial?
definitely do think there's hindrance. You know, there's definitely hindrance, but I also feel like
you will work hard to rise
exactly
above those.
there's a fine line that separates it. There's people that see that line and they're like, oh, I'm not gonna cross that line. But then there's people that are like, I don't give a damn.
I feel like once as a generation you've been beaten down to the lowest of the low and you try every effort to rise above and then almost every effort seems futile, at some point you would feel like, man, I'm tired of doing this
It's
shit.
kind of like Darwinism, survival of the fittest.
Pretty much. But
basically.
At the same time, I feel like nothing will stop you from getting into a better living, even if it's like you die trying. But
at
then,
least
like,
you die trying to get yourself. Granted, I don't want to see anybody die, but I'm just saying, you want it hard enough, you give. I feel like a lot of times we become lazy. We already have. They've engraved in our mindset. The people who white society has engraved in our brains that we're not good enough. So in a sense, when we get to a point of thinking, okay, we're here, they give up. We're not. It's like you don't value yourself enough. It's like, what point do you value yourself enough to say, I am deserving of these things. I am worthy of becoming successful. I am worthy to walk into a room and claim everything in this room. Because I feel like if we had that mentality more and stop looking at rather how these white people are looking at us and we look past them, like, my eye is on the prize. If we had tunnel vision on our prize, think about how much more successful we will be. But then it's also the version of people who get to that success and they do the wrong things with the success. That's something that really upsets me with our
like
community.
Stuff like rappers, for an example. Yes. You have all this success and then, for example, John Morant, you have this success of being in the NBA, you're making millions of dollars, and here you are still toting gun after gun
because
after
why?
fucking gun.
Like, why? That's my thing. Like, that's what really gets me. Like, that's what grinds my gears. You have prevailed and made it past so much, and you're gonna sit here and tell me you're taking what you just rose above from. You done paved the way and you paved that way to be back to where you're at. Or we do stupid stuff like go spend our money on chains. We literally talked about this at the event. Like, literally, you go spend your money on chains, jewelry, cars, but you're not investing in any of these things where they appreciate value.
But I think the thing is, we just don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong, we live in the age of technology.
That's
if
what
you
I'm
really
saying.
Want to find out, you can find out. But at the same time, I feel like people in a sense of psychology are just like, well, what if it doesn't work out? What if I get stopped doing this? What if I'm always
But I feel like before that was a mindset we could have, but because today is we are in a really open age. As much as we say, oh, there's still a lot of things that we have to come against, but we have a lot more freedom than our ancestors did.
Do you think so? I feel like we have a lot of access,
That's
but we just don't have a lot of freedom with it.
Freedom, yes. We don't have freedom. We don't have a lot of freedom. But we have access to gain freedom, if that makes sense.
But what's good of access if you don't have in total freedom? Because if you think about it, a lot of other groups have a lot of freedom versus, like, with the black community, we don't really have a lot of freedom. We're still seen as a threat to society. We're still seen as, like,
But look at what we're doing.
I mean, yes, don't get me wrong.
Look at what we're doing.
Because they only see us as an entertainment commodity.
But look what we're doing. Look how we're putting ourselves out there. Nobody's going to take us seriously because look at how we're putting ourselves out there. Let's really talk about it. We sit here as a community and ask for so much respect. And we want so many things from them. But look how we treat ourselves. How can we gain respect from these people when we don't even treat ourselves to such?
Like the Sexy Red paradox.
Yes.
Like, don't get me wrong, I get it, that Sexy Red's brand and everything, but at the same time, I kind of understand the psychology behind it because
that's how they look at us, though.
Right.
Because you can do your own thing, but it's like we're never gonna gain that respect.
But would you constantly want to code switch just to get the respect? Because the only time we ever get respect is if we code switch.
I don't want to have to code switch. No, I want to be able to be myself. But it's like if we don't. You can. I guess you could call it code switching. I just call it professionalism.
No, there's don't get me wrong, there's a difference with code switching and professionalism. Like, for example, I think the sense of professionalism is kind of like
and I wouldn't even say it with Sexy Red because I feel like that's her brand. I feel like that's her brand. She knows what market she's getting to. I feel like it's actually kind of smart. She knows what she's putting out there, right?
Right.
But in some sense, she obviously is doing something right if she's making the money.
Right.
So she has to have some sense of professionalism. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, she may portray that way and be a different person handling business, of course, but that's what the media likes to see.
I think that's another thing too. Like, you can have your brand and be professional about it versus like where it's kind of like back in the day in the 90s, they weren't really allowed to just like have their brand and be professional. They had to code switch.
But my point is, not everybody thinks like that.
Right.
That's my point. Within a society, okay, we have these black people who are well up, right?
Mm-hmm.
They already have the money, but then it's us over here looking at them thinking that's what we have to do to get money, when really it's not.
Right.
We're lacking.
Do you think that sometimes people, like the black affluent community, tends to abandon the black poverty community to not be associated with it because they view us as a lost cause, just like the white people?
Lost cause, no. I don't think they view us as a lost cause.
They only view us as a step up.
I think they use us as a dollar sign.
Like a step up on the ladder.
Like, they know they're going to make money from us. We know that we're going to be tuned. We're going to make the money at the end of the day.
Like Diddy the Diddler. Sorry.
Girl.
Because if you think about it, this man literally used black artists as a step up. Even
to get himself to where he needs to go.
Exactly.
But do you think there's also, like, selfishness in the black community? We are more focused on seeing ourselves win rather than seeing our community win. That's oftentimes what
that's where I get from Diddy. He was so focused on seeing himself win.
He made it seem like it was a community type of thing.
Versus he really just wanted himself to win.
You really, like, I don't know what that meant in his
I think that's the biggest responsibility in the black community. We continue to have this crabs in the bucket mentality simply because, like, if we think about it, we're the most hated race in existence.
Now, there is some artists or people that are out there that do go and give back to their communities.
I'm sorry, I felt like I slammed that shit down hard as hell. I'm sorry.
Good. There is some, but I don't know how to put it in there, like how to explain it. I feel like it's more so oftentimes for a show, more times than such. You're good. Does that make sense? Like, it's for a show, like, like, yeah, I'm giving back to my community where I came from.
That's you. I don't think
for a look.
I think black people do it more so as a look. Because if you look at instances like YK Osiris, like, okay, you're giving back to the community, but the way you could tell in that video, it looked just for press interviews.
Why do we have to record everything that we do?
That's, I think, not with just the black community, but just in society. That's what everyone is. That's what everyone.
Oops, I done locked my phone, girl. What the heck? My goodness.
Like, I feel like in today's society, we record generosity to appear generous.
But that's the whole. Even with, I really don't like the whole. That is something I think that really irritates me. If you're going to give back to somebody, give back to somebody.
Without anybody looking.
Because how would you feel if somebody came up to you in your lowest moment? You were living on the street. You're homeless. You don't have
You're literally begging for just 25 cents at this point.
To get something for you to eat. And somebody's coming up to you with a camera. What?
You're lucky I don't swing at you in that camera.
But they're not going to, because it's like they need
the exposure and they need the money.
They need what they're offering. But it's like, why are we going up and recording these people in their most vulnerable state? It's like you're treating them like animals, like they're at the zoo.
Like you're treating them like a commodity for
and
your
who are you
growth.
Doing this for? And the thing is, it makes me question, are you really doing this to be genuine, or are you not? Because how are you coming from a heart of being genuine when you're recording somebody in their most vulnerable state, their most needy state?
Because I guarantee you, when them cameras cut off, I feel like 99% of the time they ask for that money back, or they literally just like.
I don't think they will ask for that money back. I think they let them keep the money, but it's like you're like, okay, yeah, I did my good deed for the day, and I went and I posted it on social media. How great!
Or like, this makes me
it's
a
like
good
an ego
person,
boost,
and people know that I'm a good person because I recorded it.
It's an ego boost. Why?
Why do you need an ego
But
boost?
it literally says that in the Bible. How to give to others. It talks about that in the Bible, how to give. Whenever you do give and do give charitably, don't do it for the pleasing of others. Do it for the goodness of your heart. Now, when you choose to do it for others, you've already received your reward. You don't get no reward from God, because at the end of the day, guess what? You've already done it for these people in front of you. That's the reward you got.
You're too busy seeking attention from the village when you should be confident in your own kingdom.
I don't like that. It's sad.
It's sad, and it's
cause
like,
I'm not gonna lie. You come up to me and I'm on the street laying here, and you want to record me? Get that camera out of my face. Literally, get that camera. And it's like, but I understand why they don't say anything.
but at the same time, it's like you need the money, you need the kind of like, and then think about it, it kind of spreads awareness in a way, but at the
But
same
it
time,
also
it's just
appeals to
like,
people's eye. It makes people be like, oh, they're such a good person because they wanted to go up to this person and, give them money and things like that. But it's like, are they really a good person
oh
because
my
they just
god,
recorded this person?
look at how bad they're in. Look at the total bad situation they're in. I'm just like, bro, they're not animals. Like, this is actually a struggle that people face.
Actually, I have a question. What do y'all think about when those big YouTube channels, like Mr. Beast, he does something for a homeless shelter,
Okay.
he donates let's say $100,000 to this homeless shelter, and he makes a video of it.
Okay, with Mr. Beast, I feel like it's different because he records it. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I still feel like it's disingenuous, but at the same time, when he does it, you could feel the sense of like he's not asking for nothing in return. Like when he does the challenges, like
But that's what he gets his money
off of. Like
That's what I'm saying. I disagree. I feel like he knows that people are going to watch his videos when he's giving money away to people in need or who need things. That's what he makes his content off of.
But if you think about it, he's been doing this for a while, even when he didn't have a whole lot of money. So that's why I'm kind of like, I am conflicted.
I don't know. For me, I don't really feel the need to go and share what I'm doing for other people. If I'm doing it, I'm doing it for you, and that's between me and you. I don't feel the need to go and share what I've done. If I decide to give $1 million to a charity because I feel like they needed it, I chose to do that out of the goodness of my heart. I don't need a show from everyone to prove that I'm a good person. I feel good because I did it for you, and I helped somebody, and I'm giving somebody things that they need, not for the attention that I'm going to get from people telling me that I'm doing good. That's my whole thing with it.
I think people only do that to validate that they're being generous.
It's an ego boost.
Or to validate that they're good enough of being generous.
You're fueling your ego at that point. Rather than you fueling the person that you're giving to, you're fueling your own self with your own ego by getting an applause. You're looking for an applause from an audience for the good deeds that you're doing. And what type of society are we living in where you're getting applause for doing good deeds? You think because you do good, you deserve a reward?
But I think we're in the validation, or like in a society where we only accept, like we only think that what we're doing is good when other people deem it as good. Like we're not confident in ourselves to say like, hey, I actually saved that person from like skipping out on a meal.
Do you think that's like social media?
I think it is.
I think it has a really big thing to do with social media.
I think it's social media. I think it's clout, and I think people desire to be accepted for just to be accepted. Like people are beyond past accepted for who they are, because in society, when you're who you are, you're really not accepted. If anything, you're ostracized. Versus if you fit in with the norm.
But that's weird because I feel like people try to be like authentic version of like.
People say that they're authentic.
People sometimes try so hard to be an authentic version of themselves, they end up looking like a copycat. Everybody ends up looking the same. It's a whole bunch of little robots.
That's the thing. I think people confuse with liking something with being authentic. Like you could like something and still just like with the BBL situation. Like you could like a big booty. You could like having a big booty. But baby, to go out and get a big booty simply because you want to fit the social norm, or just because like everybody else has it and you feel like that you need it to like be likable, I don't think that that's you liking yourself or who you are. I don't think that's you being your authentic self. You're just doing it because you want to be accepted for who you are. You like the attention.
There's a lot of controversy with the BBLs.
If you want a disproportionate booty and be built like
all of them are not disproportionate. Some people have really good BBLs though. Some people do have really good BBLs. Like I will say that. SZA's BBL is good. She had a good BBL. Lotto, she has a good BBL too.
But if it's just like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm trying to think who got a bad BBL. Kim Kardashian, because if you're not gonna lie, that shit is like a guy. But she didn't even have it.
She got it taken out. She didn't even have it anymore.
No, she got it taken out, and it wasn't even a BBL. It was plastic surgery. But Kim Kardashian, everybody would praise it like, oh, it's such a big butt, but that was a terrible looking booty. I'm so. Like, I kid you not. Little Kim has a terrible looking booty, and everybody's like jonesing on her, or everybody's just like mocking her about it. Versus it's
because she's a white woman.
Literally, and I'm just like,
well, whatever she is, I'm not gonna say she's a white woman. Whatever she is, she's not black.
She's white.
She's not black. whatever she chooses to be.
But that was a terrible looking booty. Every time I look at the bikini pictures of her on the beach, I'm like, did she shit herself? I'm confused. But it was just like, hey, it's Kim Kardashian. I
That's
guess.
become a really big thing as well. The black culture being like now it's not popular anymore.
I feel like black people have allowed their culture to become a commodity at this point.
Like a
They
mockery.
invite everybody to the cookout just because they want to be accepted, especially black men. I feel like black men, no offense, I feel like black men just like literally accept everybody in order to be accepted versus black women. We're not very accepting of everybody, and then that makes us views us as like the better
Us
black
black women
women.
are the most hated women in America.
And we're the most hated people on
But
the
I feel like
earth.
we're the least understood as well.
We're the most copied. We're the most inspired. Like, we literally inspire
Y'all
everybody.
want to be
But
us really bad, but then y'all don't want to accept us nor understand us.
black women really hold the Eve gene, basically saying if it weren't for us, nobody would exist. And yet we're the most hated.
Why though? Why do you think that we're the most hated?
I feel like because we literally create everybody. Nobody likes the foundation or something. Like, you could be the foundation, don't get me wrong, but that's it. You're the foundation. Nobody really appreciates you. They see you as like, oh, you're supposed to be there. You're supposed to be at the bottom. You're supposed to like praise us. You're supposed to support us. I think that's where it's like comes with mothers too. Nobody really appreciates mothers. And it's just like, you're supposed to be there. You're supposed to give everybody. When really, I could just sell you for a crack pipe if I wanted to. Not saying that you should. Don't sell your baby for a crack pipe. But like, there's really some terrible mothers out there, and people don't take that. People take that for granted. And it's kind of like the same thing with like black women. Like, we're not very appreciated. We're not very valued, despite the fact that like
We're valued for the things that we have, but we're not valued for who we are.
exactly, we're valued for our attributes. We're valued for our assets. We're not valued for who we are, our very existence. We're just seen as sex commodities. We're seen as like ghetto baby mamas. We're just like entertainment, and it's like,
Now, what do you think about that? Because that's a whole thing.
I feel like if you allow yourself to be a ghetto baby mama, I can't blame you.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think that it's in a sense that we've come to us, not all of us, because not all black women like that, but a majority of black women have just come to accept that name for themselves, and that's become the new normal because it's a lot of baby mama culture. I feel like going on. It's less in our community. It's a lot of less wifing culture. It's a lot of less being wifed up, things like that, and people are okay with being a baby mama.
I feel like
before
people
they
are
get a ring.
now okay with being the baby mama, because if you think about it, for years it's just been like, I don't know. You have some baby mamas that have never been wifed up, and you got niggas out here literally treating them like the wife. But at the same time, they see it as like, oh, it doesn't matter, I'm the wife, because in his mind, I'm the wife. But no, what happens to you when I'm die? When you die, I have nothing to take care of the kids. I have nothing to fall back on.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that black men? I'm not gonna say all black men. I'm gonna say why do you think majority of black men don't feel the need to wife up the women that they're with, or they
I
get
feel like
pregnant?
black men just don't like some, not all.
Why will they
Most
build?
black men don't like commitment, because it's just like when you're black men are literally part of like the second most hated, if anything, because they hate because like you got a lot of black men that hate black women, or like a lot of black men in the black community hate black women, but then you have black men who face the fact that like if they weren't a man, they would not like have as much privilege as black women, and they take that as like the spare change, like almost like the like, oh, I'm gonna get a little piece of the pie. Like, I'm grateful for the little piece that I have.
So they give the bare minimum.
Basically. Like, yeah, they get the bare minimum, but it's better than nothing at all, versus black women have nothing at all. You're black, you're a woman, and that's literally two things that are against you.
Do you think that black men are more likely to wife up women of other ethnicities rather than their own?
Girl, have you looked at these athletes?
And why? Outside of the athletes.
To be outside of the athletes.
We know. That's just, I feel like that's just athlete cultures more time. Not all athletes, but I feel like majority of athletes, they choose to go.
I think black men use the excuse that black women don't love them as a way, but if you see every literally black woman, they love hard for black men, even the one that don't like, even the ones that when the love isn't reciprocated.
Do you think that's like from trauma from their own mothers and the women that they grew up with?
Because if you look at some black mothers, like literally some black mothers, their daughters or their sons, like they value their sons over their daughters. Black mothers literally love their sons, but they raise their daughters. Like, it's not reciprocated the same way. Maybe because, like, I don't know, they're like the father that they wanted wasn't in their life, or the figure that they wanted wasn't in their life. But for the most part, black women love their sons more than
But
their
why do you
baby
think
daughters.
black women treat their daughters different than their sons?
Because it's like, when you're seen as a daughter, you can't provide me the same affection as a black son would. Or it's just like you're seen.
Why? Why though? Because
Because it's the male love, it's the male
do you think
affection.
it's because they lack the male love from the men?
Yes. I feel like they lack the fatherly love that they really wish they desire, but when they have a son, they could always get that support. They could always get that love, that same consideration that they would got from a father, versus where it's like, your son shouldn't be the solution for your daddy issues, nor should your daughter.
What did she say? Say it again.
Say it again for people in the back.
Say it
Your
again.
son is not a solution for your daddy issues.
Mm.
Blueface mama, let me stop.
Ooh. Ooh. Mm.
But it's just like, I feel like a lot of the times black mothers are so desperate, because even when now, like, when they get with the men that they have a child with, they expect that same man to give them the same love and like same guidance and same support that they want from their fathers, when your father should have been giving you guidance, not your dude that you're sleeping with, or not your baby
But
daddy.
also, I feel like black moms oftentimes have some type of what's it called? Not hidden ulterior motive, but they have some underlying issues with their daughters.
That's why I think it's jealousy. I think it's bitterness.
I didn't want to say jealousy because I feel like but it really is the truth. A lot of black mothers really do have jealousy towards their children, to their daughters specifically.
I don't think, because, like, if you think about it, even when you do have the fathers that do decide to stick around in their daughters' lives, they cater to them versus when they cater to the mother. And sometimes the mother just doesn't like that. That's why when it comes to, like, I don't know if you've seen that video where the mother was like, had $100 lashes on, and she had like all these kids from different baby daddies, and one of the fathers decided to bring one of his sons McDonald's, and was just like, this is my son, I'm only bringing food for my son. You need to check on them other kids, daddies that you got. And she threw the fucking food out. Like, bitch, you rather have your son starve because he didn't cater to all the fucking children. And she's like, well, they're going to get jealous. Bitch, you as a mother should be providing for all your kids, even when the father isn't. And when you
But why
have,
do you think that? I don't know.
I just
Mike
feel
said
like,
envy.
I feel like it's a whole crabs in the bucket mentality.
Why do
that
you
we
say
have.
you mean envy, Mike? You're saying envy as far as like black mothers envy their daughters?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you say that? Just from a male's perspective, you don't have a mic on. Mike doesn't have a mic on, but he be having good input to add on this. So why do you feel like?
Black men don't want black women is because
Oh, that's scared. That
Scared
scared
the hell out of
me.
me.
I thought this door was opening. Okay. I thought this door was open. Who are you?
but no, I feel it's a problem because I don't want my son. I don't want to say I want my son to look like me.
Mhm.
I want my kid to have the best opportunity possible. So I know from culture, from seeing stuff in like the early 2000s, 90s, a lot of the people that you see in like those big office chairs, those big movies and stuff, like light skinned people. So for me to have the highest
Colorism.
my son succeeding, my kid succeeding is going to be light skinned.
Colorism, because if you think
So you're
about it,
so you're saying you feel like you're
I
saying
don't feel like that. I'm not saying
no, because if you think about it, back then, a lot of like black men and black women who had mixed race babies would like prioritize those children over than the dark skinned children, because they were white passing and you were more likely to have a better future. I don't know if you remember this poem by Langston Hughes, but it was about this man. It was about this like poem about how this black woman who had an affair with a white man gave birth to a white passing baby, and he wrote a poem to his mother talking about, I'm so glad that you prioritize me and that you push me, because I see what you think about it now, because my dark skinned little sister is literally living in poverty versus me. I'm living the high life and I'm marrying a white woman versus people who like literally accept me more because I'm white passing.
so colorism has already been a thing
Mm-hmm.
way before today.
Right.
how big of a part do you think that colorism plays in today?
I think it plays literally 80% of the black community's problems. And I think that's how we perpetuate our downfall. Because the further we perpetuate colorism, the further we praise the proximity to whiteness or the closer to whiteness. We clearly don't love our. Like, think about it.
I just seen a video literally of a lady explaining that about, like, I guess pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
They were comparing how Sexy Red carries herself to Ice Spice.
Right.
And she was saying, she literally was putting picture by picture saying, okay, so you, and she was going through the comments of what people were saying under Ice Spice picture, like whenever it was literally a picture of her with her butt out twerking with Boo. And there was people
touching herself. Literally, Ice Spice has that one move where she goes over and grabs her vagina. And I'm just like, Sexy Red does it, but
yeah, that's what she was saying. So she was going through the comments and she was explaining, like, this is the problem in today's black society. Y'all are over here, these black men are in these comments praising her, telling her she's gorgeous, I love her, da 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 da. But then she went to a picture of Sexy Red doing the same thing, if not less than what Ice Spice was doing, and they were calling her dirty, saying they would never put their hands on her,
a slut,
literally
prostitute.
they were talking so bad about her.
Mind
Literally.
you, Sexy Red is a victim of actually rape. She was
Really?
actually assaulted. Yeah.
Really?
I think, like, in the black community, we don't believe rape, or we just downplay rape. And because we think that it doesn't happen to us, because white people are more likely to put in the media when it happens to a white person versus a black person. But black people think that rape doesn't happen, and it actually does. Even within our own community, from our own family members. But we downplay it because for the longest, older black generations were like, oh, that doesn't happen in our family. That only happens to white people. Think about the creepy uncle they keep bringing around. And I'm like, y'all keep bringing around this creepy ass uncle and wondering why nobody comes to the family reunion anymore. That's why I'm glad when people talk about, like, oh, what happened to the family gatherings and the family cookouts? Because people kept getting fucking molested and verbally abused, and y'all didn't say shit.
And I know you have talked about it before in your poems whenever you do, like, poetic stuff like that. You've also said that you've been a victim to sexual assault.
I was raped at the age of 12 by my stepfather, and this man gaslighted me about, like, oh, you enticed me because you were wearing shorts. But me, as a younger woman, I was never, like, as a child, I was never really taught about, like, older men trying to groom you and try to gaslight you into the fact that, like, literally they raped you. And then one day he was like, either you sleep with me or I'm going to leave your mother.
What?
Yeah. He was like, either you sleep with me or I'm going to leave your mother, and it's all your fault because you kept enticing me.
It's very manipulative.
Very. So that happened, and I don't think people really understand, like, that really has an impact on you. People think that, like, oh, it just makes you more promiscuous, but
I feel like in some cases it does.
It does.
Some women become hypersexual after they've experienced.
Because I've learned that, like, some people actually replace that feeling of being raped with other people just to be valued, or people try to replace that with a better aesthetic of, like, oh, they're not real, they don't look like my rapist, or they don't really act like my rapist. Whole time they're really just as shitty because they're only using you for your body. But people just replace that feeling because it's like, oh, they're not forcing themselves up on me. Whole time it's still just as shitty. Not saying that, like, people who, like, do a one night stands equivalent to a rapist, but I feel like if you're deceiving somebody into just using them for your body, not saying you're just like that, but you're pretty much just as shitty. Like, you're just seeing this person for their body.
Go ahead.
Versus it's like with a one night stand, yeah, you could just, like, as long as it's consensual, it's fine. Versus where it's just like, I don't know, if you're not being clear on the person that, like, hey, I'm really just wanting to sleep with you, you're very much pretty just as shitty, because why do you need to deceive me into sleeping with you, into thinking that you're really this nice person, but the whole time you're just trying to fuck on me?
So how do you mentally move past being a victim of rape or sexual assault?
So it had a major factor on me. Like, I have psychosis to the point where, like, I get triggered into my flashbacks where I have to kick and, like, swing uncontrollably. Like, it'd be the weirdest thing. Like, even today in Diner Hall, I was kicking and swinging for no reason, but then I had to snap myself back into reality because I'm like, it's not there, it's not happening. But that really plays an effect on you because it just, like, especially when you're being mentally, verbally, physically, and spiritually abused every day, like, it just wasn't sexual abuse. It was a lot of things. Like, I told that person, you shouldn't have done that to me because I'm a child and you're an adult. But they said it didn't matter because you were just there.
Oh.
And that really played a whole part on me because it's like, you didn't give a fuck about me being a human being. You only saw me as like
an
a set object. Like, especially for a child. And it plays a very big mental part on my toll because I have a hard time setting up my boundaries now because when I would say no, I don't want to do that, I would get beat on. And I would have to do that just to avoid getting beat on or verbally abused.
So you had to just accept.
I had to accept the abuse in order to survive. And that plays a very big part in my mind because now when I go into different relationships or when I try to like meet new people.
That's what I was going to ask. How do you overcome that? Because
I feel like in a part you have to realize that no one's going to care for you but you. And even if you do come to the point where like people get mad at the fact that you're not sleeping with them, it's not the end of you and it's not your fault.
I would say even though I haven't been victim of actually being raped, I've been victim of sexual assault from a male friend that I thought was my friend. And I would say even how that went down, the trust of trusting a friend to be in the same space as you and them attempt to take advantage of you, it does a lot to you. It makes you have lack of trust for having male friends.
It makes you doubt yourself.
It also opens your eyes to understand not how people really value you, but how easy people will take advantage of you.
And how people will make you feel like you don't really matter. Because that's one thing I realized growing up. Because that what happened to me, I felt like I didn't matter. I felt like my boundaries didn't matter. My sanity didn't matter. My well-being didn't matter. And then I felt like just like that took a toll on me, especially as a child where I'm still learning to set boundaries. I don't even know what boundaries are yet. But here you are coming along, violating the sanctity of my body and violating something that should have been a very vulnerable and healthy moment for me, but you took advantage of that.
And now that moment for you is actually kind of not tampered
triggering.
It's triggering for you moving forward.
Right. Like I have a very hard problem being intimate, and even when I am, I don't want to be, but I just accept it out of fear that the other person may try to hurt me. So I feel like that's what happened with a lot of my sexual experiences, and then I just instantly regret it. But then I blame myself because it's like I didn't stand up for myself.
Do you feel like you just have to give them yourself?
I feel like I have to give them myself just to be safe and just to be accepted.
So you settle for giving them yourself rather than
I'm giving myself for my safety when I realize I don't have to do that for my safety.
Right.
Because there was like instances where like I literally told my rapist, no, leave me alone. And I literally almost went into a coma. How bad they were beating me. And like that's the reason why the back of my tooth is chipped. Like literally my tooth is chipped. But then, like, when I go in on these instances where I meet people on these dating websites, and then there's just, like, I know that they're not a good person. I know that they're using me for my body. But because I know that, I have a hard time just, like, coming up with a plan. Okay, how am I going to get out of this? So my immediate plan is just, like, okay, I'm just going to sleep with them. And then hopefully I live the next day.
Right.
And then the next day, I instantly regret it because, like, you literally just used me for my body when I know that you were using me for my body.
But you just fell basically into the same systematic trap that you've been put into since you were young.
Right.
So what advice would you give to somebody that has went through that?
Never, ever, ever put somebody over your well-being. And if somebody tries to hurt you, fight like hell. And if in the end that it doesn't happen, at least you died fighting, and at least at the very moment, people will be exposed for the pieces of shit that they are so it doesn't happen to the next person.
So you're saying
I'd rather die fighting.
That's what I'm saying. You would have rather died fighting because you're more likely to get more of a justification with you being dead rather than you surviving the rape and not being acknowledged at all.
I'm rather content knowing that I protected myself the best way I could as opposed to just laying down like a doormat and just saying like, here, take it, or just being
That's really deep, actually. That's really, really deep. For you to say you'd rather
hold myself to that standard of like I'm not just going to give myself
you went down
easily.
But also that's actually even more crazy in general. Most rapists are not held accountable until they have hurt somebody to where they are dead.
Literally Diddy or Dan Schneider. There was actually a British psychologist who studied upon, I don't know if you know the story about the McClare, I think not McClare, but like they were called the Silent Twins. And this British psychologist was studying them. Come to find out, he was going around the world. And it wasn't just them. He had like thousands of children clients. He was going around raping these children, molesting these children. He got awards for being such a renowned psychologist.
But he really was a rapist.
Exactly. And people literally didn't know until he died.
So he was manipulating them.
Exactly.
Because as a psychologist, you understand people's minds.
Right.
Especially children's minds.
Exactly.
Me studying psychology now, I understand you know a lot about how people think. You understand their behaviors, their demeanors, certain movements that they make. You know exactly what to do to get yourself into the right position with them. So he was going above and beyond.
The manipulation, the gaslighting, and people don't even like children, especially children, don't know what manipulation and gaslighting is. They don't even understand that their bodies are still developing. They just know that like, oh, I'm just going to get older, but they don't know like what happens in the body when you get older, how your hormones react, how they could like literally be like, what's it called? Not necessarily defiled, like how your body could literally be destructed in some way, all because of another person took advantage of you.
Right.
Like, my rapist got me pregnant at 14 to 12 and 15 years old. I was pregnant twice. And between that lifespan, my body literally deteriorated to the point where, like, I had a hormone imbalance. And it really, like, I almost died on the operating table during one of my abortions. I would not wake up. But I don't think, like, people like that type of people in the world, like, literally know that they could manipulate children to the point where, like, you could literally almost kill this child. And they won't even realize it. And it's such a heartbreaking thing.
And there's a lot of people like that in the world. They get overlooked.
Because they want some source of power because their life isn't where they want, because they don't feel confident and secure within themselves. Like, they know that they're a piece of shit.
And to make themselves not feel like a piece of shit, they go make somebody else feel like a piece of shit.
To make them feel like that they're worthy of still living. And it's just like,
I feel like there should also be a psychological breakdown for people who, because, okay, I was talking to my best friend about this after we watched the Dan Sider documentary. So I was explaining to her, I feel like those people that do those things specifically to children, yes, they should be in jail. I'm not saying they should not be in jail.
I honestly think child rapists should just get the death penalty.
But this is why I say not the death penalty. Because they need a psychological evaluation.
I feel like
because oftentimes with those people, something has happened to those people to where they think that it's normal. Think about, because I thought about this whenever you're watching the Drake Bell portion of the documentary.
Like with his manager. His manager was full-blown damn near raping. I think Justin Bieber was touched by Diddy, if you want to know the truth. But I don't think anything bad has happened to him to the point where it became Drake Bell's, like, perpetuation of touching little girls and stuff.
You see what I'm saying, though? There's a breakdown to that people tend to, like, yes, okay, this person is a rapist, right?
Right.
But the thing is, why is that normal? That's my question. Why is that normalized to them? Because with the whole Drake Bell situation, at first I was like, oh, that man is horrible, but then
when you find out about his manager, you kind of feel some, like...
I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad
for him at all, but you understand.
But I'm questioning now. Now I'm questioning me being a person that's going to be working with the kids who have been through those things. That has been, whenever Drake Bell went through that situation, right? That became his new normal for sex.
But at the same time, at what point you know this is wrong? You know the type of feeling it causes. So at what point do you get some help?
Now, that's what I'm saying. That's why I say instead of these people going to jail, they need to be under psychological evaluation.
I feel like you still need to be thrown in jail.
You should be in jail, yes, but you need to be in a jail where you're getting psychologically evaluated.
And I don't think you need to be in jail for 2-3 years. No.
You need to be in there forever.
For like 20.
No, you need to be in there forever. You don't need to get out of jail. Exactly. You don't need to get out of jail. But instead of people putting you in a jail where they know, I feel like that's the easy way out of things for them. You know,
I just go to jail. Like with Jeffrey Dahmer. Like this man.
You know you're going to jail. You know those people is going to kill you. You don't care. Like, but if somebody's to sit down and ask you about why you went through these things and actually evaluate what happened to you as a child, because you never know. Most times, what's crazy is most times people who become rapists have also suffered sexual assault or rape
repeatedly.
It's a cycle.
But
And
at
that's
the
what we were
same
talking
time,
about.
I'm just like, you should know that the pain that was inflicted on you, it could be just as
But
detrimental on the other
But
person.
because they have went through that, and I'm not saying for women, I feel like for women it's different. Women, I feel like it's totally different. But for men, I don't think it's different. I think that becomes a new normal in their head.
Because if you think about toxic masculinity,
So then they become to think that that's the normal. That's
especially
how,
when you're raped by another man, it's kind of like you're trying to prove yourself that you're toxic.
exactly. You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's how that becomes your new normal. That becomes how you view sex. That's how you think sex should be. I also feel like it would be hard for them.
Oh, like you're just the object to get me and get on and get off. And at the same time, I feel like, well, if you felt that way as a child and you know that hurt you so bad, why would you do that to the next person? Yes, it may seem normal to you, but at what point do you get help as an adult? Because you're responsible for your own healing.
That's why I say when they go through those things, they need to be under a psychological evaluation of just me going into the field that I'm going into, dealing with that. That's kind of how I'm viewing the situations in general. I know that I'm going to be responsible for that child that has been raped.
Right.
What can I do to ensure that you are not going to fall into the same footsteps?
Exactly. Like, I think that's one thing. And I think another thing, too, is sometimes people feel like, oh, it doesn't get no better than this, me being raped, so I might as well take it out on other people. But that's not always the case. The only reason why you feel like that is because that sick fuck put that in your mindset, because they had that same mindset put on into them.
There's also different ways that they deal with the coping. There's people who don't like to talk about it and they move forward, but then they're suppressing those emotions, and there's people who go and take that out on other people. It's just so many things.
But it's not really easy to come out and say, oh, I've been raped, because there's so a lot of stigmas. People think of you as a hoe. People think of you as used up. People think of you as like, oh, and that's been instances where people have like, oh, that's why you got raped by such and such and such. Like, bitch, you used that to make me feel like less than a person when I literally didn't want that happen to me.
Right.
And then even when it's just like with Terry Crews as a man, oh, you're less than a man because you got raped and molested by another man, versus like rape has no guidelines on how you should react.
Do you think it's harder for men to come out to being raped rather than women?
I honestly think it's too.
I think it is.
Toxic masculinity.
Their manhood has been stripped away from them.
Because it's like you're seen as less than a man when you get touched by another man, versus like you're still a man. Because I think a man isn't based on like who or what you have sex with. It's who you are as a character. Like if you see somebody in distress, I don't even think that makes you a man. I just think that makes you're a normal human being.
I think that's why a lot of men don't talk. I feel like that's why a lot of men don't talk about when they're actually sexually assaulted or they're raped, because they think it's normal.
Exactly, they think
it's normal, or they think that they're going to be considered less than a man for bringing it up and talking about it.
Exactly, and I just think that like people take that as like even when it's like female or male rape, like when there's men who have been raped by their female babysitters, it's seen as like, oh, that's not rape.
That's
it's supposed to happen
to you,
and it's like that's still rape.
There's sympathy for women, but there's no sympathy for men, because it's not that you're a man. And that's something I just don't like.
Exactly, because like I think at any moment you're just not comfortable with something, especially something sexual, that's just borderline rape to me. I even think that if you're like, because this is another thing, I feel like if you're having sex with somebody, even when you're not comfortable, that's personally rape to me, because what would they do? Why would you feel so uncomfortable? Why would you feel like you have to sacrifice your body or your health or your well-being just to feel safe?
I see. So, excuse me. I'm so sorry I had to burp. Before we finish off here, do you have any questions you want to ask me?
Am I annoying you? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. That's the only question I have.
No.
That's all.
No. This has actually been one of my favorite podcasts, actually.
Oh, thank you.
Because we've talked about so many topics, and important topics as well.
Oh.
Mike is shaking his head yes, that he's in agreement.
Thank you.
It's on his face. You're going to go reevaluate your whole life after this? This did something?
Do you...
You seen her thinking about like 7th grade shit.
I need to go do some self-reflection.
I feel like that's another thing to people to people are very cautious and very scared and ashamed of self-reflection because it exposes the dark part of themselves to where they feel like they're not capable or worthy of loving
But
themselves.
everybody has a dark side of themselves as well.
That's the thing. I feel like as long as you're not out here violating people or treating people like less than a person, I feel like
Oh, I'm so
as long
sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry, camera. Oh my gosh. Can you put like something over that? Okay,
I feel
please.
like as long as
please, please, let's put something over that.
I feel like as long as you're not treating people less than a person, and when I mean that by not respecting their boundaries or just like trying to intimidate them or abuse them in some way, you can go back and reflect on yourself and acknowledge the fact that you were wrong. That makes you a stronger human being. That makes you more valid. That makes you like stronger than anything else, because to sit there and pretend like nothing happened, you're scared of accountability. In other words, you're a bitch. You're a punk. Because why are you so scared of taking accountability, you pussy asshole?
Oh.
It's just simply owning up to the fact that you were wrong, and you trying to like feel like, oh, I'm right, I could never be wrong. Not only are you borderline a narcissist, but bitch, at the same time, you're trying to fit this like delusion because you want to hide from your monsters. And anybody who hides from their monsters, you ain't nothing but a little bitch hiding up under the bed to me.
And you're causing more problems than anything else.
Exactly. And then you continue the same toxic cycles. You continue the same
and you
bad
pass them on
habits.
to the next to everyone you encounter. You pass those things down to them because you're harming them in some
Exactly.
form, right?
Heal your wounds so you don't bleed on others, and people don't have to carry
Ooh.
the bandages of you bleeding onto them.
Sunday in Poetic Souls, she has a poem that's called Come Ready, Come Healed. Shout out to you, Sunday, because I really like that poem. It's called Come Ready, Come Healed. I don't know the direct words for it, but it talks about coming healed and how you, when you don't come healed to someone, you can cause so much damage to that person.
Literally. I think that's the same thing with just like, even not to go back on the topic of like people who have been abused, but that's just like being abused in general. Like just with like, if you think about it, with like a lot of parents from the 60s and 70s, like they take it out on like people who like take it out on their children because like their parents before them just took it out on them, and then that becomes like a generational curse, a toxic cycle, versus where like you're allowed to heal, you're allowed to look within yourself and say, hey, this is a flaw and I'm going to work on it. You acknowledging that you have flaws just makes you a real ass bitch, honestly. Versus you sitting here talking about, oh, I could never do wrong, I could never be perfect. Bitch, you're delusional and dumb as hell, and all you want is attention to validate. You need other people to validate you.
Nobody's perfect, first and foremost. Never, nor will you ever be.
Exactly. Like if you try to ignore your flaws, bitch, you're too busy focusing on attention from the village, and I could never be cool with you, ever.
Could never kick it with you.
Ever.
Well,
you can't sit with us.
Well, if you want to hear more about her and her great thoughts, you need to go to Amazon. When you go to Amazon, go look up Imperfection, click it, add it to your cart, and purchase it because she wrote that book.
I
So,
appreciate it.
if you want to hear from her, go get her book. You have anything else you want to add?
You're going to have to buy it on the website because it's not supported by the Kindle app or the Amazon app. So just go on the website and look up Imperfections by Vivian Von Velvet. You will see me on the cover with lip gloss and rolling my eyes.
Like,
literally.
So, go get that book. Anything else?
I would like to say thank you for having me, and I'm sorry for talking your ear off.
No, you did not. It was a great conversation. Literally, great conversation. We're going to go ahead and end it here.